Good morning. Welcome to Quiet Echo. I'm Aisha Khalid, and I'll be your host for today's podcast. Dan told you I would ask the questions the rest of them forgot to ask. He is generous. The truth is, they asked the questions all week. I am just the one sitting with what the answers mean. I am a doctor. I have been practicing family medicine in Cedar Valley for 20 years. People come to me when something is wrong. Sometimes they know what it is. Most of the time they do not. They know something hurts. They know something changed. They sit on the edge of the exam table and describe a symptom, and my job is to listen past the symptom to the cause. 20 years of this teaches you something. The diagnosis is almost never in the first sentence. It is in the pause. The thing the patient almost says and then swallows. The question hiding behind the question they actually asked. I have been reading this paper all week, and I want to tell you what I heard. George wrote Tuesday about opinion pages dying across the country. The largest newspaper chain in America admitted its own columns were driving readers away. George opened it up the way he opens an engine. Found the broken part. Writers forgot to ask why they were writing. The purpose left. Nobody noticed until the room was empty. Lars wrote Wednesday about a country no longer reading. 40% of American adults did not open a single book last year. Lars has watched it from behind his counter for 31 years. Customers used to come in knowing what they needed. Now they hold up a phone and ask to be told. The thinking leaked out, and nobody noticed because the screens filled the space where the silence used to be. Chloe wrote Thursday about her daughter, 7 years old, reads chapter books, cannot read her grandmother's birthday card because it was written in cursive. An entire generation lost access to the handwriting of the people who came before them. Nobody decided to cut the thread. A committee dropped it from the curriculum, and the thread just stopped. Dan wrote Friday about the dinner table. Only 30% of families eat together regularly. 80% of teenagers say dinner is the time they are most likely to talk to a parent. The kids are waiting for us to sit down. We are in the other room scrolling. 4 stories, 4 losses. And here is what I could not name until this morning. Nobody decided. No one woke up and announced, I am done reading. No parent said, you will never learn your grandmother's handwriting. No family voted to stop eating together. No editor declared, we will now write without purpose. It drifted. All of it. The way a river cuts a new channel. Not in a flood, but inch by inch, season by season, until one morning you look up and the water is not where it used to be. I see drift every day. A patient comes in and says he has not been sleeping well. We talk. He has not been sleeping well for 2 years. He adjusted. He drinks more coffee. He pushes through the afternoon. He stopped noticing he was tired because tired became normal. By the time he sits in my office, the problem is not insomnia. The problem is he forgot what rested feels like. The drift works the same way in a family, in a town, in a country. You do not lose the important things in a crisis. You lose them in the ordinary. One skipped dinner, one unread book, one letter you meant to write and never did, each one so small it does not register. And then one morning your daughter hands you a card and says, what does it say? And you realize the river moved while you were standing on the bank. In medicine we have a phrase, the presenting complaint. It is what brought the patient in. Your job is to find what brought it on. The presenting complaint this week was 4 separate stories. The underlying condition is the same in all 4. We stopped paying attention to what mattered while it was still in the room. George said, ask 3 questions before you write. Lars said, pick up a book. Chloe said, write your child's name in cursive. Dan said, set the table. Each of them offered something small. A single act. A few minutes. Nothing expensive. Nothing complicated. Nothing requiring permission from anyone. But I wonder whether the acts matter less than the noticing. A person who writes a child's name in cursive but never thinks about why. Is she doing anything more than going through emotion? A family who sits at the table but stares at phones. Have they really gathered? My patients sometimes ask me what they should do. I tell them the prescription is not the hard part. The hard part is noticing you need one. Once you see the drift, you cannot unsee it. And once you cannot unsee it, the next step is usually obvious. You already know what to do. You just need to stop long enough to admit it. Here is my quiet question for the weekend. If you could get back one thing you let go of without noticing, One habit, one practice, one connection, one conversation you used to have. What would it be? Do not answer too quickly. The quick answers are almost always borrowed. Sit with it the way you would sit with a symptom you have been ignoring. Let it find you. And when it does, do not let it drift again. This is Aisha Khalid. Teresa is back on Monday. I will bring my questions again next Saturday. Between now and then, pay attention. The river is still moving.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open.